How are you celebrating the Feast of St. Phoebe today? Right now you might be doing what I do when I'm, say, like at a dinner and someone will mention a name, like an author or some kind of public figure, and I'll think I'm supposed to know this person. My husband Peter can tell you that I'll give him this look like, should I know who we're talking about right now? Well, with St. Phoebe, I'm going to say you should know, but you can be forgiven if you don't. Like many other early Christian women whose leadership was respected and undisputed during their lives, she's been largely ignored in our calendar of saints. Her feast day, which is today, was sort of upstaged when the memorial of St. Gregory the Great was moved from March to September. Now, St. Gregory the Great undoubtedly did many great things to deserve that moniker and this memorial, but one thing he did that was not so great was to erroneously, and let's give him the benefit of the doubt, possibly unwittingly taint the reputation of the great St. Mary Magdalene back in the 4th century. And now, definitely unwittingly, he has sort of pushed St. Phoebe aside. But she's making a resurgence. If you were at Holy Trinity for Mass last weekend, you may have heard Father Bill Kelly preach about St. Phoebe and what she means for our church today. St. Phoebe was a courageous, confident, influential, intelligent, generous presider and preacher who led the nascent house church community in Cenchreae. That was a port city in Greece that was close to Corinth. Now, Corinth, as we know, was the home of the Corinthians, who had a lot of division and confusion among them. We don't have any surviving pastoral letters from Paul to the community in Cenchreae like we do to the Corinthians, which might mean that the house church there was in pretty good hands with Phoebe. Phoebe was a respected and revered deacon, friend, and benefactor to many. We know all this from just 2 lines of scripture in Paul's letter to the Romans, chapter 16, verses 1 and 2. I commend to you Phoebe, our sister, who is a minister of the church at Cenchreae, that you may receive her in the Lord in a manner worthy of the holy ones, and help her in whatever she may need from you, for she's been a benefactor to many and to me as well. In these words, Paul was entrusting Phoebe to travel for many days by boat to Rome to deliver and, as importantly, to interpret this important letter to the Christians in Rome. Scholars project that Phoebe likely helped compose the letter to the Romans, and she certainly was knowledgeable about its theological content that she was going to be presenting to the persecuted Christians in Rome. She was willing to go and bring the gospel where it was risky to go. I love that the word hope appears 10 times in the letter to the Romans. That's the most of any New Testament book or letter, and I like to think she wrote those sections. This particularly sounds like Phoebe to me. Rejoice in hope, endure in affliction, persevere in prayer, contribute to the needs of the holy ones, exercise hospitality. 3 years ago, I celebrated St. Phoebe's feast day by going on pilgrimage in Phoebe's name to carry a petition of prayer to Our Lady of Guadalupe in Mexico City. The Synod on Synodality was about to get underway, and Discerning Deacons, the group that organized this pilgrimage, was hopeful that a synodal process might open the way to the ordination of women as deacons in the Catholic Church. You know, back in Phoebe's day, leaders of the church emerged from the consensus and will of the people, and it seemed there was an opening to that spirit being revived. So during the synodal process, the preparatory phase, people all over the world were sharing their hopes for women in ministry. There was a great sense of possibility. There was that same sense of possibility 45 years ago when Sister Teresa Kane, who died last week at 87 years old, made a forthright and public request to Pope John Paul II in 1979 to include women in all facets of the church's work and ministry. Until she died, until the day she died, and still now, Sister Teresa never gave up hope that ordination would be open to women. How do we persist in the face of what can seem to be impossible odds? And I think it's through joining our hopes with others. We draw strength from others, and when our hope flags, someone else is always there to pick it up. And there's lots of examples of this. People with addictions who know that in gathering together day after day, week after week, year after year, they call upon a power greater than themselves to persist in the face of what seems to be impossible. Palestinian and Israeli families, like those in Circle of Friends, continue to meet, sometimes in each other's homes, against all odds, in the hope of overcoming centuries of animosity and creating peace. One of the participants in one of these groups said recently, "Both nations are totally in trauma now. I think that just the fact that our movement exists, despite everything, provides some hope." How will you celebrate the feast of St. Phoebe today? I invite you today, in St. Phoebe's memory and honor, in St. Phoebe's name, to persist in hope for whatever it is that you're facing or that you're witnessing that seems impossible. Be brave. Draw strength by joining with others. Do not give up. I'm going to celebrate by joining a hilarious and brilliant friend of mine, and hopefully others, maybe you, outside the Vatican Embassy for a honking happy hour. We will hold signs that say, "Honk for women's ordination," and we'll be so encouraged by the many, many cars that will honk. And they help me hold on to the belief that anything is possible.